All right, we're just chilling here. It's the weekend, and we did a quick design. This one's actually a little bit different. This is a state flag for the state of Maine. So I'm going to give you a real quick history here. This is currently our Maine flag. It is fucking terrible because the idea of a flag is it should be something that you can either cut out of cloth or that like a 5-year-old can draw with a 12-pack of Crayola crayons. And this does not fit that design. So, but that's the current one. So there's a lot of flags in New England that look like this. Now there's the common Maine flag. This is actually an old flag. You can see this is a buff style. This should say buff, not painted. And the buff style is, this is like cut out of cloth and it's stitched onto a canvas. And the color here is just like a regular old waxed canvas color. Now there's a variation of this, and to be honest with you, this one's easily my favorite. This is a hand painted version of the same concept. And as it's written in law, it was basically like a pine tree in the middle with a star in the upper left, and this is supposed to be Polaris or the North Star. So I became aware of a bunch of other states now are redesigning their flags, blah, 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 and Minnesota recently redesigned theirs, and you can ignore this black on the side. This is supposed to be a stand-in for a flagpole. But that's the new Minnesota flag, and it is gorgeous. It's a really great flag. It fits all the needs of simple to draw, easy to see from a distance, and something you can cut out of cloth. Now, there's one interesting thing here that I want to get to, and that's the star. One thing that's really fascinating about this star is that it's an 8-pointed star, which means that it can be oriented both vertically and horizontally, and the star communicates identically and it's symmetrical along its main axis. This is very exciting because flags, as you know, are hung in a variety of different formations, and that is a really great design element in the Minnesota flag. So I'm going to show you what I came up with, and then I'm going to show you the design process that I went through to get here. So I essentially took the idea of, Maine is a pine tree state, so I took the green color and I went ahead and designed out this basic shape and format. It's got a little bit of a chevron, and then it's got a star. And of course, this is Polaris. This is the North Star. And we're going to show it to you here in a vertical format. So the vertical format, I think, is where it communicates the best. In a vertical format, where it's just hanging like in from rafters or something, or on somebody's wall, it communicates really nicely where Polaris is in the correct orientation, and then it kind of looks like pine-covered mountains in the background. And I'm going to also show it in I call this like a house hanging scenario. This is like it's hanging off the side of a house at a 45, or it's not a stiff breeze. So this is what I came up with, and I'm going to walk you through how I got there. So I first started by just doing flag formations like this, and then I started breaking them down into different types of layouts. So if you look here, we got like a 4-part layout. This one here is a 5-part layout. This one is a 6-part layout. And we just keep going through, and then we continue on to different 7-part layouts and 8-part layouts. And I'm just playing with this one concept here, okay? I ended up liking one of the 7 parts. I think it was this one. So then I came over here and I started sketching out some colors. As you can see, we got a blue for the star, and then we have an alternate blue, and then we've got the green, and we got that canvas color. And you have to bear with me because these are all the wrong color. But yes, if we come in here, you can see that we're starting to sketch out some concepts. Starting to sketch out some more concepts. This one actually was pretty strong pretty early on, but I came back to it later. Tried to simplify it, tried to add a little more visual interest to the back here because this was just too blank. There wasn't a lot going on there. Tried moving the star over to fill that space, but I just didn't really like the way it looked, although this one's actually not terrible. And then tried inverting it so the chevron was inverted. This one actually is, like I said here, now it's got that different color. It's got that brighter color, the brighter orangey yellow color, and then it's been rotated to make it symmetric around this axis. And then I came up with this concept of what if you make it like a sun and water and then sky. In this case, it's just white, and then we have like a green coastline here on the right. And then we kind of just pulled that in a little bit to balance it out a little bit better. And then we just tried doing just green, like a forest and skyline, or sky and some sort of like sun or something in the middle. So those went okay. And then I just kind of knocked this one out. And you can see here that I tried a couple other variations. We can talk about the star here again, but this is the variation I came up with that ended up becoming the final. Now to talk about the stars real quick, I tried a couple things, okay? And the problem with the 5-pointed star is that from the side, the flag kind of looks like it's sideways, right? So really this should probably be more like that. But then you can see in the vertical formation it looks wrong, right? So this is part of the genius things about the Minnesota flag. Now what you can do is you can go to a 4-pointed star, but I don't really like the way that looks. You can go to a 6-pointed star. That one is the same in both formats, but this one's actually like the strongest alternative, I think. Unfortunately, you can run into a situation where, like, if a child's making this and they're cutting it out, they might cut it out like this, and then you end up with a Star of David, which is a religious symbol. So that's something I wanted to stay away from, not because there's anything wrong with it, but I didn't want any confusion. So then the next one is the 8-pointed star. Now, I think the 8-pointed star is very strong. However, if you look over here, the 8-pointed star is what Minnesota is using, and they start to look very, very similar once you both have the chevron pattern and the star. I think the Minnesota flag is one of the best flags that's been designed in a decade, easily. So now we're going to just kind of talk about the final one that I came up with. You can see some of the variations here, and we're going to bring it all the way back down to the final one, and I'm going to show you a little bit of a bonus. So this is the final. I actually like it. It seems pretty strong. Again, there's an opportunity here to change this to like a 6-pointer, maybe. I think that's also pretty strong. I just don't think that it communicates very well in a Western context. It starts to look more like an asterisk than it does a star. But in any case, that's what it is. And here's the bonus. The bonus is 3 variations on the base. And this is for variations on things like season. So we got like the standard, or like the summer, spring variation. We got an autumn variation, or like maybe you can even call it like a sunset variation. We have a nighttime variation, and then we have a winter variation. And so, yeah, I actually had a lot of fun with this. This is the first time I've ever tried designing a flag, and you know, I only have 2 people to go off of, me and my partner. My partner's very picky when it comes to stuff like this. And she was very excited by this design. So I usually take that as a pretty good sign. One thing that'll be of note to everybody watching this is, if you look at this, it kind of looks like there's a shadow, a drop shadow here. There actually isn't one at all. Okay, that is, you can see here there's no drop shadow. That's just an effect of having these colors stacked here. It's just how your brain kind of perceives it. It kind of believes that there's a shadow there when there's actually not. And it kind of makes the design look really, really compelling and interesting. So just a cool note, and thank you for watching my thing about this flag.